Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a quick trade review of the trade I took today. I was able to take a long and captured over 100 plus points. It is the day before NFP, so I was very happy to be able to get a nice trade because a lot of people just don't even trade the day before NFP because they deem it low probability. Um, I personally, I'll trade any day. It doesn't matter whether it's the day before a high impact news driver like NFP. If I like the price action and I see my model form, then I'm going to take a trade, and that's what happened today. So, as the time of me recording this, it's after 6 p.m., so my executions aren't showing on the chart. You can see if I can fucking pull it down. There we go. I have my executions on, but it's after 6 p.m., so they're not there. But this is the screenshot I took of the trade where I entered, took a partial, and then my take profit was up here. I also posted this on my Twitter, so yeah, that is just proof that I actually did take this trade. And so yeah, let's get into it. So initially, I was looking for NQ to take the previous day's low. Obviously, you see we came super close to it here, but we failed to take the previous day's low, and YM did take the previous day's low. So we had an SMT at the lows here with YM, right? And we had also sold off, like all London session, we just sold off, right? I'll give you a look here. So we just sold off all London session at a big London session, right? So I was waiting to see us take the previous day's low and then target longs, but then we failed to take previous day's low. YM did take it, so we had an SMT at the lows with YM, and because we had sold off so much during the London session, there's just so many equal highs and so much just buy side liquidity resting above. And so when we had that SMT, we then formed a breaker here, low, high, lower, low. So you have that breaker, close above it. We also then have a fractal breaker too, right? Low, high, lower, low. So we have a breaker and a fractal breaker. And so we pushed up, we were able to close above this swing high here. And so once I saw the breaker, the fractal breaker, and the fact that we were able to close above this swing high, I then waited for price to pull back down into this fair value gap here. And that is where I entered in. I entered in at 23.10, and my initial stop loss was below the swing low. So a pretty big stop, as you can see, 82 points. That's why I only took 3 contracts on MNQ to help lower the risk since it was such a big stop, which if anybody's been trading these past couple weeks or really this whole year, um, you know that the volatility has been crazy and the stop losses have been having to be much bigger than they normally would, right? Like you're having to have a 50, 60, 80, 100 point stop sometimes because the volatility is just so crazy and the candles are just so big, right? But because there's a big stop, you know, don't go in with your normal size, just size down, trade micros, and just trade a few contracts like I did here to help lower that risk, and you can still make good money trading micros. So that's where I entered. Stop loss below here. My take profit was at these equal highs here. We had all these equal highs right there. Right, so that was my initial target. And so I was in a couple minutes of drawdown here, like 6 or 7 minutes of drawdown. Honestly, when we started to pull back down here, it was looking pretty ugly. I thought that I was going to get stopped out and that price would come and take the previous day's low. But it didn't. It stayed respecting this initial breaker we had, and then we had this push up. I took my first partial at negative 1.5 standard deviation right here because that also aligns with these equal highs you can see here. So I wanted to lock in some profits there just in case price was going to tag that and then reverse. So I sold one contract there. Then price came up. I took another partial here at -2 standard deviation, and then my last contract got hit for my take profit at these equal highs here. And as you can see, it was over 120 points. Now, once I took my first partial here at -1.5 standard deviation, I then moved my stop loss below this swing low, right? I really wanted to be risk off here on a day like today, day before NFP. I didn't want to be risking too much. So yeah, I moved my stop loss below this swing low after my first partial. Then once I took my second partial at -2 standard deviation, I then moved my stop loss to break even and held my last runner for my initial profit target. And then price, you can see, did end up hitting it. It was a great trade. Super happy to be able to make some good profits day before NFP. The only critique I could give myself is I maybe could have not taken a partial at -2 standard deviation and just held all of my contracts for here. Or I could have partialed at 1.5, partialed at the equal highs, and then held a runner for either -2 or -3 standard deviation. That's the only critique I could give myself, is I could have maybe held a little higher, right? Because we can see price did end up reaching and hitting that. But other than that, I think it was a pretty great trade. It aligned with my model, and so I took it, right? I didn't care that it was the day before NFP or not. If I see my model, I'm going to take the trade. Um, and it is interesting, you can see here, once we hit the -3 standard deviation, price kind of just chopped and then ultimately did sell off and take the previous day's low. So yeah, definitely pretty happy with my exit here, and overall happy with my trade management and how I managed my stop loss. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.